Calcers. So today we are going to do a little mini lesson on derivatives of inverse functions. So the first thing I'm going to just show you guys where kind of the general rule comes from, and then we're going to do applications of it with charts and tables, because that's generally the way that the AP presents it. So first thing, we have f of x equals x to the third. So we know f prime of x is going to equal 3x squared. All right. So what this means is the point 2 comma 8 is on the function. So f of 2 is equal to 8. So then we're also going to find now what f prime of 2 is equal to, which is 2 squared is 4 times 3, that's 12. All right, so now we are doing the derivatives of inverse functions. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to find the inverse of f. All right, so just a reminder, the inverse of f is I'm going to sidebar that, switch x and y. And we're going to solve for y, so we take the cube root of both sides. So the inverse is equal to the cube root of x. All right, so, and same idea with inverses, we switch x and y. So that means the inverse of, if we switch them, 8 should equal 2. So cube root of 8 is 2. So 8 comma 2 should be on the inverse. All right, so now we're going to do the derivative. Inverse, and then the derivative of that. Okay, so f inverse, and we're taking the derivative of the inverse. So cube root of x is x to the 1/3. So when we take the derivative of that, that's going to be 1/3. X to the, subtract 1 from that, negative 2/3. All right, so that's my derivative. So now if I do the inverse derivative at 8, it's going to equal 1/3 times 8 to the negative 2/3. So that means this 8 to the 2/3 goes into the denominator, so 1/3 times, then we move that 8 to the 2/3 in the denominator. So power over root, cube root of 8 squared, so the cube root of 8 is 2, squared is 4, times that 3 that's out in front. So we've got the derivative of the inverse at 8 is 1/12. All right, so here's a neat little trick that you'll notice. With the inverse, you switch x and y. Switch x and y. With the derivative, you switch the x and y. So now we're doing f inverse derivative of 8, and you flip it. So flip the x and y, flip the derivative. Okay, so it's actually the reciprocal 1/12. All right, and it's going to work every time. All right, so now I'm going to do one with a chart to just kind of talk you through that one after.